Welcome to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, the show that puts the spotlight on the incredible women who fuel the world of motorsports. From drivers to crew members, engineers to fans, and everyone in between, we're here to celebrate the trailblazers, dreamers, and doers shaping the sport we love. Each episode, we share inspiring stories of females of all ages from every corner of the motorsports universe, past, present, and future. It's a journey through the seasons of life filled with heartfelt moments, laughter, and a whole lot of horsepower. So whether you're a lifelong fan, a racer yourself, or simply curious about the extraordinary women behind the wheel, settle in, relax, and enjoy a fun and uplifting ride with us. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, connecting and celebrating women in motorsports, one story at a time. Let's hit the track. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Amy Larson. And so, Amy, I want to welcome you to the show. And as I always do, my listeners like to get to know you a little better other than motorsports. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your family, whatever you'd like to share.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. I live in Virginia, have 4 kids, one still at home, who is the motorsports guy in the family. And I stay at home and homeschool him.
Okay. And how old is he?
He is 14.
Okay. So that would be a high school, you're doing high school stuff probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So many kids are homeschooled nowadays. Lots of the girls that I interview, drivers and that, are homeschooled. It just works so much better to be involved in racing in that. So it doesn't surprise me that your son is homeschooled.
Yes, there's quite a few in the racing community. It just helps to be able to go somewhere on a Friday if you want to, and you don't have to answer to anyone.
So. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So, Amy, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in motorsports.
Well, my 14-year-old, from the time he was a toddler, was obsessed with going fast. And at 5 years old, he had been watching the Cars movie, and I told him that the character King was a real man, Richard Petty. He started watching videos and decided at that point he was going to race cars. And so a few years later, when he was 9, he started racing go-karts. And he is still racing go-karts now. And 2 years ago, we met someone that offered him the chance to drive an open-wheel modified dirt track car.
Okay.
So he's been able to be on the track a few times with that. Honestly, I was not into racing at all before this. He has made our whole family fans by loving it, between myself and my husband and both sides of our family just have started following racing because of his love of it.
So. That's very similar, Amy, to my story as far as I have 4 children. My son, when he was about 4 or 5 years old, we'd go to the racetrack to watch some of our friends race, and he would sit on the front row, and he would never leave the front row. And he had a little white racing suit that was like a Halloween costume that I got off the JCPenney Christmas catalog. Do you remember when they used to get Christmas catalogs in the mail or not?
Oh no, I remember marking them.
Oh, yes. And so that's where I got it from. And from that time until he passed away, he was so involved in racing. And that's how our family got interested in racing. So we have a very similar story as to how we came to where we are today, for sure.
That's neat.
So when he first started racing, were you nervous? Did you, if you and your husband weren't into racing, that's a lot of things to learn about the kart, much less, just how do you feel about your kid going around a track?
Right. As far as myself, I'm pretty laid back, and thankfully I'm not a nervous kind of person when it comes to it. I feel he's very safe. He races a champ cart, a cage cart, so he is strapped in 5 point
Yeah.
harness. So I've always felt very safe with him with that. My husband, he knows how to work on cars, so he was able to learn. It took a while to be able to really be confident, but he was able to learn that. So it's been a good mixture of just our family being able to learn with the help of others on the kart track to
Yeah.
teach
And
you.
everybody's willing to help. That's for sure.
They are.
Yeah. And so where do you guys go to race? Do you race at one track mostly or do you travel?
This year we have been only racing across the border in Tennessee at Ashway Speedway in Strawberry Plains. We
Okay.
live on the Virginia border. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. That is the closest track to us. There have been years that we had one about 30 minutes away in Kingsport, but that track closed down. That was a paved track, and now he's on dirt and prefers dirt. He has really gotten into loving to race on dirt, and he wants to have a career in racing
Okay.
in
All
some
right. So what is the thing that, your family, what keeps you going to the track? I realize your kids into racing and we do what our kids love, right?
Mhm.
But there's got to be other reasons. You could be doing a lot of things on the weekend besides being at the racetrack. What keeps you going back?
Uh, we want to help him live his dream, and in doing so, we're doing the same. We just love the thought of him being able to do this, and I've told my husband that the time that we put into this and all the things that we do is like putting into a college account. You know, this is our this is our college account for him. Is putting our time and effort into helping him live his dream, and we
Yeah.
we love it.
Yeah, because there are kids that go to college that race, but not if they want to become, seriously successful at it. You can't really take that much time off from it because every week really that you're out of the car, you lose a little bit of your skill. And there's all kinds of guys and gals that are not missing any weeks in the car,
Mhm.
and you just get behind. It's true of any sport. If you lay out of it for a while and other kids are practicing softball or basketball and you try to come back, you're going to be behind. And so you kind of have to make that decision, don't you? Whether
Yes.
it's going to be college or a career.
And even as he's grown older, any other sports we don't do anymore. We want to focus as much as we can on that, and do everything we can, and we just always do it as a family.
Hmm. Yeah. And so he's got three siblings. They're older. Do
But
they?
they're all grown.
They're all grown.
They're all grown. A couple of them with kids of their own. I have 7 grandkids.
Okay.
2 of the grandkids are older than Everett. Everett was later in life. He's actually adopted. We were blessed to be picked to adopt him, and it's just been awesome to we kind of started over again, after the
Yeah.
other kids were older, and so it's been good to be able to put that effort into him and his dream, and just we've
Yeah.
we've been
So
very.
how old was he when you adopted him?
We were there the day he was born. We were
Oh
there
gosh.
when he was born, and
That's very cool. And he's a lucky kid that he got you as a family. So,
well,
yeah.
we're very blessed. He's just awesome. He's brought us in a direction we would have never even thought of with the racing. This is just he's taken us on an adventure from day
Uh-huh.
one.
So what do his siblings think of him racing, and do they come and watch? Do they live close enough to be able to do that? How do they feel about that?
uh, they're very proud and brag on him. My oldest son, for a while, whenever it first started, was able to come to quite a few of his races and be with us. But uh, they haven't been able to recently. But you know how it is when you're racing; you're traveling so far, and it's an all day thing.
It
And
is.
so, but yes, they're very supportive and proud of their baby brother.
Yeah. And once they leave the nest and they have their own families or their work, it's hard to give up your weekends. Sorry. It's hard to give up your weekends
Mhm.
unless you're directly involved because you've got things that you have to do for yourself and your family.
Yeah, and none of them live near where we would be going. It would be a
Yeah.
long way to go. So
So you drive almost 2 hours on a weekend, and do you race on a Saturday?
yes,
Okay.
so it's all day Saturday. We're usually home very late on Saturday night, and then get up and go to church on Sunday morning because that's very important to our family.
Okay.
And so it's tiring, but it's good. We've just learned. You learn over the years how to operate, how to do it to where it's not so hectic.
Well, and you just learn how to manage and organize so that you can get everything done that you need to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a question I have for you as a mom. Um, you're homeschooling, you're the mom of a race car driver. I'm sure you do laundry and buy groceries like the rest of us have to do, and all the other things, clean house and all those things. How do you manage taking care of yourself in that? Because sometimes as a mom or as a woman, we tend to put others before us often.
Mhm.
So, how do you keep yourself in balance?
You know, I think I tend to not do that sometimes because you are putting into everyone else, and you don't want to let anybody down. But thankfully, because I am able to be at home, I can take time just for myself. Some ever it's older now, even just going to town by myself,
Yeah.
or and just having a support of husband and to be able to do this and to be here for Everett. And
Yeah.
but it's a lot of work with now to advertise and to put that child out there to hopefully get him where he wants to be in life. Social media. So
Hmm.
he calls me his momager. Yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah, and so, he doesn't do social media like that, so I do his accounts and his YouTube and all that, and that's been something I've had to learn,
Yeah.
and I like doing it now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Because honestly, that's such a big part of it nowadays. You just have to. And especially if he wants to move up and move on, name recognition is a big part of that and your
mhm,
branding. And so,
mhm.
good for you that you've taken that role on. And I love that you're the momager. You need a shirt that says momager
I
for sure.
do, I
Yeah.
do, and that's how you advertise for your sponsors because he does have sponsors, and,
Okay. I was
that's
going to ask you about that. So he has sponsors. If you'd like to share who they are, you can. It's up to you. But how do you go about getting those? Does he go out and do that? Is it family, friends, people that you know that own businesses? How did he get those sponsors?
well, his main sponsor is Food City, and Food
Oh,
City is here local, and they sponsor NASCAR race at Bristol Motor Speedway. They sponsor
they
two races.
just happened not long ago.
Yes, they are his main sponsor. They have him come up on stage for the fan zone, but the how that started is when he was wanting to race. He was probably 6 or 7, maybe 6. He walked up um, to the head guy at Food City at an event. Little guy here walks up and says, "I'm going to race, and I would love for you to be my sponsor. And this man, Steve Smith, he talked to Everett, gave him his card and said, when you start racing, you call. And we did. And so he did, get his first sponsor, like that.
Yeah.
And then people that have maybe live in the area that have seen him and see how he carries himself, how he acts, have contacted us. There have been friends that have businesses that we have contacted. So he has, Food City, Quality Heat and Air, Han Doctor, Kingsport Fitness. One of his big person that we have met that has helped him a lot is Corey LaJoy.
Okay.
Corey is he's awesome. He buys him racing shoes. He gave him this simulator this race simulator that's sitting behind me. He gave him that so he could practice. It was sitting there. He wasn't using it. He's had him a suit made. So just meeting these people that can help in a way, and if they can't, do a whole lot, can introduce you to people.
Right.
Everett has a very outgoing personality, and he can talk to anybody. He last year at this time, we went to an event in Richmond, and he met Travis Pastrana.
Mm-hmm.
Travis invited us out to Pastrana Land, so Everett got to go and rip through the trails with one of his Can-Ams, and that was just an experience of a lifetime. So just networking these people that can, Travis put something on YouTube, Instagram, all these people have seen it.
Yeah.
And so
that's what it takes.
Yeah, with Everett's personality, that and how he acts, and that we require that he acts the way he should on the track, off the track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
people take notice of that, and when a kid is outgoing, like he sounds like he is, that's how he's going to, that's the other part of being a good driver. It's one thing to be able to drive a race car. There's a lot of people that can drive a race car, but not everybody can do the other side of it, which is the talk to people, like I just think about Connor Zillage. Okay. Everybody talks about his age, but how much older he acts than his age. Mm-hmm. Well, that's because he's been trained by his parents, by somebody, to act in a responsible manner, to how, what to say, what not to say, how to act when you're not in the race car. And it sounds like Everett's got the same path in those ways, that he knows this is not appropriate behavior. I can't do that. And the thing is, Amy, you never know who's watching.
Right.
And so that's the thing, especially social media, TikTok, all those things. You never know who's going to run across that and see it. And if they are impressed by it, then that's how he's going to get more well-known and get those opportunities for sure. Yeah. So if you had a mom come up to you at a race and they said, hey, my kid wants to start racing, would you have any advice for them?
Well, I would say don't go above what you think that you can do, as far as even money. Don't try to start out with the best of the best and get yourself in debt. Race what you can. Learn as much as you can, and love it, and just be there for your kid.
Right. Yeah. And don't, it's like anything that we do, you don't start at the top.
Right.
And so that's kind of a life lesson. Kids especially don't understand that sometimes. They want to just go to the top, and it looks so easy. And there's a lot of things they have to learn between here and there. And
it can be heartbreaking when your child is doing their best and they're not winning.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong. You run into people that are not necessarily treating you the right way.
Yeah.
It can be hard, and it's really hard on mom.
Yeah, it is, because You know, we're mama bear. You don't bother my cub, or you've got me to tangle with. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. So, you know, he started racing when he was how old did you
He
say?
was 9 when
9.
he finally got on track. He was
Okay.
9.
So he was 9. So what are some things maybe that you see that he's learned or developed that he probably wouldn't have learned this early in life had it not been for racing?
Probably just dealing with a lot of different type of people, and knowing that he has a job to do, and whether he's tired, he needs to go do it,
Mhm.
and do his best, and that we're supporting him, but he has to be responsible also for
Right.
this.
Yeah. And I tend to find that a lot of kids that are involved in racing, homeschooled sometimes has to do with it too, are more mature because they're around so many adults so much of the time.
Yeah, and he is. He's pretty mature. I mean, he gets to be a kid and have fun,
Sure.
and we kind of at the track, even though he needs to help out some, we let him be a kid, and he gets to run around and play while we might be doing a lot of the work. But we
Yeah,
want him to be able to do that. We don't want
sure.
him to have to miss out on being a kid.
No, because that's something you can't go back and redo.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, so when he goes to the track and he's, you know, racing and things don't go right, as we know they don't. Every race day is not a winning one. How does he deal with, or how have you helped him learn how to deal with adversity or when things go wrong on the track?
You know, he's not one to get angry and at the track, and take it out and other people see it. He's the kind that if he feels he's been done wrong, or something didn't go right that he was not in his control, he's the kind that just kind of gets really sad, and he just gets quiet and all, and we have to try to just we've my husband tells him this here isn't our finish line. Our finish
Right.
line is ahead, and
That's
uh,
good advice.
so
Yeah, that's good advice for sure. So, does is he the kind of kid that you kind of have to keep him motivated, or is he always up and raring to go to the track?
oh, he's always ready to go to the track. That's yeah.
I
School
figured.
school might be a different subject
Well,
there, but yeah, if it involves driving, whether it be going and racing, or he does iRacing, and
yeah,
gets lots of practice with that. He's ready to go if it
yeah.
is involving racing, or going to another track and even watching racing and meeting people, and
Okay.
he loves to just be out doing things like that. That's his thing. He
He's an extrovert. He likes to meet new
very much,
people and yeah, that's
and he
great.
has helped me because I've always been very shy. And
Okay.
so when he was little, 5 years old, and would want to stop somewhere he saw a car, we would do it. And I felt more confident, because I'm taking a little kid there to do it.
Right.
And he met another one of his sponsors that from that time, that he we're still friends with, that have raced off road, Baja. Met him through that by just stopping by their shop.
Mhm.
Wanted to sit in the truck, and so
And you know, everybody loves that. Other drivers love when, especially a kid, wants to sit in the truck or wants to look at the truck. And every driver is proud of their truck, their car, whatever. So if a kid wants to do that, that makes that driver feel good, and that's how you start those relationships for sure.
and even at his age, he's able to do that with little kids with
Yeah,
his vehicles.
yeah, absolutely. So, what does your race day look like? Do you typically go the morning of the race? And tell me what. You know, you have to load the trailer, who you fix food, you eat at the track. I had somebody that always goes through McDonald's and gets some kind of sandwich before. So, do you have anything like that that you always do, or what's race day look like?
Well, my husband, he makes sure that the cart's ready and loaded. He's that part of it. I make sure we have plenty of food, drinks, everything we need. We have a small grill that we take so that we're not spending extra money on food at the track.
Mm-hmm.
And so I usually make hamburgers or hot dogs. Once we get to the track, all three of us help, set up the canopy and make sure the cart's out. And Everett's he's kind of in charge of the tires, getting those on, and then just stay there all day long. But we leave in enough time to get there for the gates to open.
Okay.
And
So do you race at night or is it afternoon? You know, how long are you get to the track at probably noon or so and you're there till who knows when, right?
Well, they're usually racing later at night because in dirt they're waiting for the moisture to come out of the ground.
Right,
It took me a long time to
figure
understand
that out. Yeah, I figured it was later in the evening when they were
Right.
racing.
So a lot of times for bigger races, the gates will open at 2 just because they have more to do.
Okay.
Quick races, sometimes gates open at 4. So
Okay.
you have some of the morning to get some things done.
Okay. So you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn and get going. You've got some time on Saturday morning to get ready.
Usually,
Yeah,
usually we do, which does help.
yeah, for sure. So where do you think he is going to, I know you're his mom, so it's hard to sometimes be a little more objective about him, but it sounds like he's got some talent because he's got some people that are already looking at him. And you can share also, some of his biggest wins or biggest, doesn't have to be a win, biggest memories that you have of him driving. So let's start with that. What's your favorite memory from his racing career?
Well, I tell you, there was one particular race when we were on pavement that he went out there and he passed on the outside. He passed on the high side and just took off and won that race. And I can just remember just being amazed that he was able to do that. But and just he has won quite a bit. He's not one of those kids that has the fastest cart and the best of everything and gets out there and is able to win everything just because he's out front. I tell you, what makes me so proud is he gets the most out of his equipment, that he knows how to do this without having a family that knows what to just tell him to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that, we've learned things just by being at the track, but, my husband and I have never raced.
Yeah.
So
just a little bit of instinctive in him somewhere along the line. He got some of that motorsports speed stuff. It'd be interesting to go back into his genes and see if there was a driver somewhere back in his history.
Yeah, we're just proud of him. He, a few weeks ago, because he's moved up to adult racing with the adults, and he has really become very confident. And just to see him working his way through the cars and getting up to the front, and that's when I get nervous. When I think he is going to win, when I get nervous. I try to video all of his races, and I can feel myself shaking when I think he's gonna win.
Oh, well, that's what moms do, though, isn't it? Yeah. That's what moms do for sure. Yeah. Is he looking at something like World of Outlaws? Is that something that he wants to do, or what is he? If he had his dream racing career, what would it be? Do you know?
I don't know if there is one set one. He of course, everybody looks at NASCAR because that's, you make money and you make.
Yeah.
So he likes that. He likes just racing dirt track. He's going to be, doing the open wheel modified.
Right.
Here where we are, you don't see much of, there's not really sprint cars or anything like that. They'll come in occasionally.
Yeah.
He's also interested in rally or
Oh, yeah.
off-road. He likes jumping. He
Oh,
likes
yeah.
vehicles.
Well, that would be a lot of fun. He should really hook up with Travis then.
Yeah.
In that case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping to keep in contact with Travis. We just saw him a few days ago. He was in the area with a rally race. We've met another young guy with a rally. So with rally, and he's interested in just talking to Everett. So
yeah.
So
yeah, that's good. And again, social media is a good place to kind of look those people up and follow them, or YouTube, any of those places. And they, if they're good at what they're doing and they're good at social media, they'll take notice that he's following and commenting and that's another way to build those relationships. So yeah, very cool. So Amy, I know you said, you're just so proud of him. How do you see, the future for you and your husband too, as far as his racing? You're 100% in.
We are 100% in, and we see ourselves kind of following along and helping where we can, just being in his life, in the racing, whatever it takes.
Yeah. There's a kid, I follow a lot of series and things on Flow Racing. And my friend actually is part of Racers for Christ. And so she and her husband's does the medical stuff. So they've been traveling with High Limit Racing, which is Kyle Larson's series. And it makes me think Danny Sams III races in that series. And his parents are just like you guys. They are all in, and they've traveled with him all summer. And they're right there. They're his pit crew. They're everything. And so, you see more and more of those types of families where they just, I don't know what they do about their home, because they're from Florida and they've been traveling everywhere. Maybe they have kids at home that watch the house. Maybe they shut the house down. I don't know. Maybe they sold it and they live in the motorhome. I don't know. But I can just see where more and more families, when they see that their child has a real gift for being a good driver, that they're willing to just say, hey, I'm just going to pack up what I like to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And that seems like that's what you and your husband are doing.
I like to do. This is what we love to do, and I can't imagine not being at one of his races. I've thankfully been able to be at every race, and I plan on being at every race I can, as long as he's
good for you.
I'm just so proud of him.
Good for you. And you know what? I love interviewing moms. I mean, I do interview a lot of drivers, obviously, and other people involved in motorsports. But you know what? I don't get to interview enough moms, because they're really the backbone of keeping that whole race team together. And it isn't just packing the food on the weekend or whatever. It's all the things. And you should be proud of yourself, Amy, for the part you play in your son's racing career. And I just wish the best for him, and hope he is in the NASCAR with the other Larson that's in NASCAR. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share?
I can't think of anything at the moment. Other than, you talk about the women, there have been several women that I'm involved with this, that aren't mothers necessarily, but there are a lot of moms, but other people that are in the sport that I've become close friends with. So
that's true too.
Women.
And your husband's probably met some guys, the same deal. It's,
Yep.
our race connections turn into our family
Yes.
because we spend so much time together, and we can be competitive on the track. But if anybody needed anything, we'd be the first ones to be there. And that's just what I love about racing. It's different than any other sport. It
Yeah,
really is.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, Amy, this has been a pleasure to talk with you today. Thank you for taking time to
Thank
do
you for
this.
having me. Thank you for
Absolutely. And I hope you'll stay in touch and let me know how he's doing. And I'll keep his name, up here so that if I see that come across anytime, that I'll be like, okay, I know who that kid is. Because Everett's not the most common name, so it'll be easier to remember.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
thanks
I
again.
expect you to be there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well,
Thank
thanks
you very
again
much.
for being on. If you just hold on a second, I've got some things for you at the end.
All right. Thanks.
That's it for this episode of the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. We hope you've been inspired by the stories I shared today and feel more connected to the amazing community of women in motorsports. Remember, whether you're behind the wheel, in the pits, or cheering from the stands, your story matters. And together, we're driving change and celebrating every milestone. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who loves motorsports as much as you do. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates, behind the scenes content, and more incredible stories. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep racing through life. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, where every woman's story is worth celebrating.